Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. What was that? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex and I'm a graphic designer who likes to dabble in fashion content from time to time. And today we are going to be creating a shirt design based on like a vintage basketball sports team, but for my hometown of Orlando. And since, I actually kind of want to sell this shirt, it can't be Orlando Magic, but it's definitely going to be like Orlando Magic-esque, at least with the color palette. So let's get into it. So hopping into Illustrator, I'm typing out Orlando, and I already knew what kind of font I wanted. I wanted that very collegiate, like sports college font. Collegiate college, whatever. The very sports, typical college font that you can see that's in some of my inspiration that's on the board. So that's what I went for. I went for college block. And from there, I'm going to write out Florida as well and choose one of the like typical kind of like bootleg tee script fonts. So it's not going to be like a, one of the more modern, but definitely like one of the limited script fonts that they had at the time when like Photoshop was first coming out and whatnot, and like computers were starting to get, or personal computers really were just starting to get really big. And then I knew I wanted to take out the A and swap it for a star. So here's what I'm doing now. I first took the star tool and tried to create a star using that, but I didn't really like how it looked. Like the lines, I didn't like how the lines weren't parallel. Like I didn't like how the top line wasn't parallel. So I fiddled around with it for a while, and after a while I knew I just had to create my own star. So that's what you can see them doing here. This took a little bit of finessing to get exactly how I wanted. After that, I went in and made the O's on either side bigger to help really round out that typography. And it looks really nice, looks really clean that way. And like I said, fiddled around with the placement, giving it a type of arch to really exaggerate like the archness from the O's already. And here you're going to see that I do what I normally do and try to do that whole backdrop, different like shadow type of thing. And it doesn't work at all. Like I spent so much time struggling to get this to work for no reason. I literally didn't end up using it. So, my computer was just crying for no reason. Because after I got it to work correctly, I genuinely just didn't like it. Like, I tried everything to get this to work, and, like, it just doesn't look right. So I ended up scrapping it. And here I am adding a gradient to the Orlando word itself. I knew I wanted it to be blue into white. So here I'm doing that, messing with the gradient. I couldn't see what I was doing in terms of doing the offset path and the stroke and whatnot. So that's why I ended up doing this little red background so I could actually see what I'm trying to do. So here I am. I was going to try to make it work again. It didn't work. I eventually gave up. So then once I got the Orlando to a place that I really genuinely liked, I started messing around with the Florida font, seeing if there were any other typefaces that I liked, because the original one that I had was under, I think it was just brush script, and I didn't really like that much, so I ended up swapping it to Mascot, I believe. Oh, it was Corner Store. So I didn't like the original font, the Alex script, ironically. Or not Alex script. I didn't like the original font, which was brush script, so I ended up changing it to Corner Store. And that's the one that I ended up using. And here I am adding, like, the vintage rise that you can see kind of like in the Sixers one. And in, like, the Raiders one on the right-hand side. And now I'm going in with the brush tool and tracing that basketball hoop, or the basketball going through the net with the hoop, because I can tell you how to draw that from memory. So I ended up grabbing this photo off of Pexels and using that to trace So I found using the brush tool to be easiest for this task because I could just trace however I wanted, and then once I got everything how I wanted, especially because of the strokes, I can go in and make things curved and fix like the points to be exactly where I wanted them to be. So after I got that all done exactly where I wanted, I was able to outline all of those strokes to make them actual shapes and instead of paths. So then I was then able to go in and add a stroke around all of that because I knew I wanted to add a stroke around every object. Once I got the basketball hoop to a place that I really liked, I went in and started working on the basketball, which, it was a basketball, but I knew I wanted to make it in orange. So that's what I'm going in and doing now, making it in orange, duplicating that circle, making it a lighter orange, and making the little orange sections. And I'm going in and making all of those little sections round, spacing them out, just making it an orange. And it's so cute. Here I am cleaning up the basketball rim even more. And now I'm going back in with the brush tool, and I wanted to add something to it because it was looking very empty still. And I liked how the basketball in the Sixers design had like the fire, and I want to do something like that. So instead of the fire, I'm going in and drawing some like orange juice to mimic that same thing, or mimic that same effect, I should say. And after I drew like the basic shape with the brush tool, I went in with the pencil tool to start refining it even more to get the shape exactly how I want. Just make it look cleaner and whatnot. Just going back and forth between the pencil and the brush tool so I can add like the droplets and splashes of juice as well. Drawing this little basketball net was actually like really fun. Drawing this little graphic, it was fun. I haven't drawn in a while, and so it was nice to go back in and draw again and use that sort of creativity in my design. And now I'm going in and adding or like messing around with some text for the bottom because the bottom was kind of empty. And so I wanted to fill that space a little more. So I added the established in 1875 because apparently that's when Orlando became a city, was 1875. Playing around with adding those lines on either side, adding Orange County and some stars. Taking inspiration from the shirt design on the right. Seeing if I wanted to add a palm tree. Yeah, it was just a thought. I knew it wasn't going to look good. So I ended up scrapping it. And here I am bringing it into Photoshop. And adding a blue background behind it to help give it more of like a vintage and also like a bootleg tee sort of style. Similar to what I did for the Demi Lovato shirt. I wanted it to look more like a bootleg tee than anything. And since I want to sell this shirt, I knew I had to make sure that the background, because there's a gradient in the background. So I had to go in and make sure that it was actually like a shape. So it could be printed properly because the background shape itself has a gradient and you can't, or it has like a gradient from like really opaque to really transparent, and you can't print that properly. So I wanted to make sure that it was actually a shape that could be printed. And here I am just adding some more grit and like vintage textures. Finding the correct textures actually took quite a while because a lot of what I had was like, it was too much. So I had the texture overlays, but then I also went in with like a texture brush so I can add some and then also erase some so then it wouldn't overpower the design, but it still gave the vintage feel. I didn't record the rest of my process, which I don't know why. But what I ended up going from here, because I knew this is pretty much what the shirt looks like, but I knew I wasn't like completely sold on the final product of this shirt. Like I didn't really like it. It didn't give enough texture for me. So then from here, I went in and I turned everything into halftone dots. And so like it gave like the perfect texture that I was looking for, especially for the vintage feel. And It added, like, it's just like something was missing, and the halftones added that extra pop of what was missing. And yeah, that's basically it. That's basically all, the only difference from this design to what I did afterwards. And so I will throw that design on a mock-up and show you guys the final product. I hope you guys really like this design. Let me know what you think, if I should start doing this for different cities. Are you guys really feeling like the vintage bootleg tee? Because I'm very picky with my graphic tees. And I find myself being drawn to the really vintagey looking ones. I think they're super cute. Like, they don't even have to be legit vintage. They could just be something that was created now that looks vintage, like this. And I'm also a sucker for anything that says Orlando, because as much as I hate Florida, as much as I dislike my home state, I love my home city. Orlando will forever have a place in my heart. So I love making art based off of it. And yeah, I'll have the link to this shirt in the description, as along with my other Orlando design. I'll have that link down below. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.